620 for watching my video. Also, you can catch me on these social media platforms. This is Crimson60620. Thank you for watching my video. Also, you can catch me on these social media platforms. And if you want to see some great art, hit my DeviantArt page up. And finally, support my Patreon. Thanks. All right, guys. I'm actually just trying to get a bot to work, and forgive me. Oh, we're doing economic update with Professor Wolf tonight, and I'm just trying to get something to work. Bear with me. Just trying something. I'm sorry, guys. I'm being goofy right now. Please. Like. We're available. Oh, God. There we go. Yay, I got it. Woohoo, it works. Well, it's saved at least. So let's try this. We're going to try this right now. Booyah. Oh, wow. Wow. It works. It motherfucking works. Okay, so we at least know the stream bot is working. The Streamlabs bot is working. It should be on everything, but... And... let's actually switch this to... oh, put that on YouTube. It should actually be on... that was on Twitch. Yay. Woohoo. So, that works. That's the thing that works. I'm proud of myself. Yay. Woohoo. Streamlabs. So, when I made a commitment to do this every day, once a day for the next week, I realized how many videos that I run out of. And wow. So plus a lot of my shit. Okay, so let's go down the shit with me and YouTube. So a lot of shit I watch on YouTube is actually other people's commentary. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I enjoy people watching people commentary. Um, I really have to sit down and think of some videos that would be more entertaining because you guys get to watch. But it's just one of those things where I'm watching something on my stream, which hopefully that doesn't pop up. But it should be something where I don't know. It's like because I find it interesting. Like that's what this channel is. This channel is me finding shit interesting and me wanting to share that interesting shit with other people. And I want to have more conversations, and whether I have one viewer or 100 viewers, I just find doing this shit is fun. And especially, let me give you the genesis of this half-ass show. So you guys saw me coming up with it, but basically, I wanted a game, and I wanted an excuse to listen to videos. Now, some videos, like when I was doing the first ones with G-Man or fucking whatever the fuck dude is, Monday Blue, um, you guys would hear it play over the fucking speakers, and it's just me being the asshole and like thinking about what they're saying and some commentary. Because that's what I do. I don't game and listen to gameplay music. I never was one, and that's kind of the reasons why I probably didn't enjoy Kingdom Hearts as much as I could have. But besides it being just like a big wait and play game, like it did not have any live up to the story potential or lore that it actually had. But um, I find myself gaming and listening to podcasts. And like this is an excuse for you guys to actually watch me do the shit. I mean, like, yeah, you guys are feeding my, I wouldn't say ego, that's a bad word. You guys are feeding my enjoyment of being able to talk about shit that I think about watching while I'm watching videos. Maybe I can get on some other shit, but this shit is fun. And it's a great way to wind down after work. I mean, like, we are getting shit where some things are actually pissing me the fuck off. Where I was reading this, oh god, I was reading this Fox News article, and I I can't game and do it because it's a written article, and so we can actually go over there probably at another time, probably on the weekend. But it was about what Democrats need to do to win the 2020 election. And it was all coming from a centrist, if not a Republican, about what Democrats need to do. No, Democrats need to be fucking progressive. They need to be fucking leftists. They don't need to be Republican light. Fuck you and wanting the Democrats to be Republican light. Fuck you and the horse you rode into. But let's continue. So we're gonna be looking back to our Professor Richard Wolf, and he's gonna be talking about universal basic income. Hence the title, Money, 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 Money. I'm fucking acting silly. I'm tired. This is how you know I'm silly.
Welcome, friends, to another edition of Economic Update, a weekly program devoted to the economic dimensions of our lives. I'm your
At first, when it started, it was a bi-weekly or a semi-monthly program, but now it's a weekly. Yay.
host, Richard Wolf. I bring this program to you in the hopes that an analysis of what's happening in the economy we all depend on is a useful part of your life as it is of mine. Today I want to spend the entirety of our program on a topic that many of you have asked me to talk about and that is in the news more and more each day. It's called universal basic income.
All right.
It's the idea.
So we're gonna get what he's talking about. Let's look and see when he actually did this. Oh, this isn't. This is a couple of months old. So come on, let's get it.
That isn't all that new, that in a society which seems to be unable or unwilling to provide meaningful work for all the people, what do you do with the people for whom such work is not provided, who cannot or will not, for whatever reason, find a place in the workforce? And there have been many efforts to deal with this situation for hundreds of years. One of the ones that is most widely known gets the name guaranteed minimum income, or sometimes just welfare. And here the idea, very old, is that for those people who either have no work and therefore don't earn any money, or in a modern capitalist system have a job.
All right. So let's go ahead and talk about this. And yeah, damn, my fraps is horrible. Oh well. Basically, it's always been welfare for the poor. It always has. The thing about it is the slice of poor is actually becoming progressively bigger for some reason. I already know the reason is, capitalism. And so, shit, that's a dancer? Oh, shit. Let me knock your ass out, dude. Ah. Come on, shit. It's raining where I'm at. And god damn it. Trying to kite the dancer away because I need that level 2 dance. Oh, come on. I need this dancer. Oh, come on. I know I got to get to the video, guys. But I need this dancer. I need my private dancer. Damn it! Let's get to the video.
But are paid so little that they cannot live, especially not if they're part of a family, that some assistance is provided. You aid the poor, working poor, unemployed poor, and you kind of help them out, sometimes with cash, sometimes with services, and so on. The problems with this are very well known. Just to mention them. One, it creates a split in the society between those who earn their living by working, and that's all that they can earn is by working, and that's all their income, and those who have either part or all of their income without working.
All right, so, and I got to do something about this internet connection, but work on it. Let's talk about this part. So, what happens is people get motherfucking jealous. I will agree to that. There was a time where I used to get jealous of people who needed the fucking assistance of the state in order to make sure they can just live life. I used to be jealous like that. Then I realized, right, life is hard. Work is shit. I can barely make ends meet. Why would I be mad at poor people when I can be mad at rich bastards who control how much people are paid? I mean, like, that's it, you know? if you really want to be pedantic about it, you know. And this whole thing of jealousy that you see with people that have to slave to work and people who don't, it's a motherfucking issue. And I forgot I had a ball. And we see a lot of people who, that's why we have so many problems with people who are quote unquote immigrants. They're trying to sneak across the border. They're not trying to work hard to get where they should be. Like, really? Y'all mad at the person that don't have any power versus the people that have power? They're not trying to take your jobs away. They're not trying to take your minimum wage shitty ass jobs away. And yes, if you're not making, if you're making $12, $13 an hour, that's still below minimum wage. They're not trying to take that shit from you. You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to make sure that fucking family survives. And they're not trying to hurt you. They're not trying to make your life worse. They're just trying to make their life better. And for you to fucking hate them because they quote unquote they are getting handouts or they're getting this and they're getting that is bullshit. Get the motherfuckers at the top. Get them motherfuckers. Let them motherfuckers know how pissed you are about the shit that's happening. I guarantee you. If we get the motherfuckers at the top, we wouldn't be having all of this shit that's going on. We wouldn't be having the issue where people will feel like they're being left behind in an economy that's leaving everyone behind. This jealousy shit needs to stop. Because in the end, it just turns us against each other and not against the people that's fucking making us fight each other. But let's continue.
Wow. What this does is develop jealousies, envies, tensions, and bitternesses, often between people so different in modern society as that. Then you have the added problem, which is if you're going to sustain poor people by effectively a transfer payment, a gift of money or goods, then the question is who pays for that? You could tax corporations and the rich, since they're the ones either not employing or not paying the mass of people enough to avoid this problem. But typically, the corporations and the rich don't want to pay for the sustenance of the poor, and so they shift the burden onto the mass of workers. Now you get that famous situation in which particularly right-wing politicians can go after that situation, telling the people who have a job that they're paying taxes to support people who earn an income without working, so you can play on the tension between these two. Of course, the proper response would have been, if you don't want to be a worker who pays for the unemployed or the poor, then make sure the people who are most responsible for their being unemployed and poor pay for it. In other words, the issue is the burden of taxation, not the existence of it. Well, this kind of tension, which has dogged welfare systems from day one, has led to this other idea called the universal basic income. And here's how it's different. In this idea, you don't give poor people money because they're poor, because they have no job, or they're paid so little for their work. Instead, you give everyone a flat lump sum of money. A universal basic income. Could be in kind, but mostly these ideas are about money. And the idea here is you're not going to set up tension because everybody gets it. Everybody gets it equally, by the way, is this idea. Not some more, some less. No, everybody gets a basic amount of money And they get that because they're a citizen. They get that because they're a person in the community.
All right, so again, fuck, please don't tell me that we're gonna go through this brownout shit again. I'll be pissed if I go to another brownout. I had one already because of all the fucking weather. But anyway, it goes. If you're telling people that, hey, no matter what, we're gonna give you money. If you're having that issue where you're giving people money, regardless of what they already have in their pocket, that effectively cuts out this jealousy angle, which people play. People play that jealousy like it's nobody's business because how dare you? How dare this person who doesn't work? How dare they get something? You gotta work to eat. If a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. And all this other goofy shit. Like, really, dog? Really? What about somebody who's unable to work? Or better yet, what about somebody who's unable to work in our style of economy? What then? They just shit out of luck? Is that what it is? I tend to not like that. And yeah, facts don't care about your feelings, all that other good bullshit. But that just seems unnaturally cruel. It's just unnaturally cruel because what ends up happening is, you know, you consign somebody to basically live a shit existence because they don't fit the model that we think that the world should go. Oh, it works for you, fine, because you, but everybody else, fuck them because reasons.
Some people seem to think that this is a radical new idea. It isn't very radical, and it is certainly not new. It has been tried in a variety of countries at a variety of times. There was a recent experiment in Finland that has got quite a bit of attention in recent months. But in actuality, and I found this remarkable in preparing this program, the biggest and best and longest modern example is right here in the United States, although it appears that many Americans are not aware of it. Here's what I'm talking about.
All right, let's go actually see this because universal basic income, I haven't heard that is being popular in the United States. So I'm that ignorant American. Now I do know the minimum wage is there, but that's been abused up and down, left and right to say, well, if you're only working so many hours, you only get this much money. But let's continue. Let's see what he says.
In 1982, the state of Alaska made a decision to do
Okay.
something which it has done ever since. So we're talking almost 40 years of experience. Over these 40 years, the state of Alaska developed something called the Alaska Permanent Fund. To make it simple, they taxed the oil that was found underneath the soil and water of Alaska, very rich deposit worth billions and billions of dollars. They taxed it, a small tax on it, to produce a fund. And the fund was then invested. And the idea was these are the resources of the state of Alaska. Nobody put them there that's living or that's around today or ever for that matter. And so it's in a sense a resource, a national or natural resource. And so here's what's done. The income earned by that fund, invested as any fund would be, is distributed to every citizen of Alaska.
All right. So this is actually wonderful. And we did a video about Rucker Breckerman. He was actually had this same go to about with Alaska deal with the oil companies. And it fucking worked. That's the sad part about it. It fucking worked. And yet and still we're acting as if, man, it fucking worked though. But let's continue.
The same amount each person. That's been going on, as I say, almost 40 years. At its height in 2015, when the price of oil was high, it worked out to $2,072 per person, which meant for a family of four, a little bit over $8,000 was simply given to them and to everybody else equally. It's been as low as $800 to $900 per person per year. So the question arose right away, particularly by people who were fearful about this. Well, this didn't do any good. It didn't solve problems in the. Whatever the argument is, two professors, Damon Jones of the University of Chicago and Ioana Marinescu of the University of Pennsylvania, found that doing this had no effect on employment. Why did they ask that question? Because right-wing critics of these ideas argue that if you give people money just as a citizen, well, then they won't bother to work, and we will have people withdrawing from labor. And this research showed crystal clearly that nothing like that happened in Alaska. You gave people money, they didn't stop working or reduce their work commitment at all.
All right, so basically what he's saying is that the shit has been tried. The shit has been tried in the U.S. and it's been determined that it works in Alaska. Now, it does go up and down, but god damn, it's been tried and it hasn't caused such a fucking problem yet. Oh, I'm mad because that's a carpenter too. Oh, that's a carpenter too. Too bad, guys. My numbers are higher. And my numbers are higher, but let's continue.
What are the arguments for this? Well, oil is nobody's output. It's there before human beings were, so it's a way of sharing the benefit without letting a few people make a fortune while everybody else gets nothing out of this natural resource. It means, of course, that you have less inequality because you're giving the same amount of money to a poor person for whom it means the world as you are to a rich person for whom it means pocket change. So it is a way of reducing inequality. It also removes extreme poverty. It means people can't fall below a certain amount, and in the case of 2015 at least, $8,000 for a family was nothing to sneeze at, even though prices in Alaska are higher generally than they are elsewhere in the United States. Okay, and here's a last conclusion about Alaska. What Alaska did, anyone can do. Any one of the other 40.
All right, so let's just stop right there for a second. It worked in Alaska. It fucking gave people and made sure they at least had some hand out of poverty instead of just relying on the strength of their own brow and government welfare. Now, he did give that, prices in Alaska are higher. I would actually agree to that. Everything that I see, I've heard about the costs for getting shit to Alaska. The costs are higher. But still, that's still money for people. And goddamn, it's still a fucking help. And on top of that, you do get rid of the whole envy. You get rid of the whole, well, rich people don't really need it, then they're going to treat it like pocket change. And what are you going to say? People who are rich going to turn it down? No. They're rich because they're greedy. Greedy as a motherfucker. No, I'm joking, but it's not gonna affect rich people as it would affect poor people. And that shit goes without saying. So, yeah, give it to everybody. The rich can buy what? Make one more night out versus a poor family having to be able to, you know, pay their vehicle bill. But let's continue.
The United States can do it too. What do? You tax land, you tax corporate profits, you tax wealthy people, you put together a fund, you invest the fund, and then you distribute the amount of money. One person gets the same as every other person. Why is it being discussed now? Well, the truth of it is, and this is very important, because there are now fears that we are about to enter into another period of time when capitalism as an economic system brings us technical improvements, things that make it easier for human beings to produce goods and services, but the byproduct is unemployment. Today, the most fanciful ideas are raised that artificial intelligence and the computer and robots, you put all that together, and there have been estimates that something like 47% of jobs that exist today will not be there 10 or 20 years from now because they will have been automated out of existence.
All right, so here's the thing, and one of the biggest problems that I know that we see is, quite frankly, a lot of people are their jobs are being automated out of existence, and yes, that's a real big issue, and yes, we actually should be looking a way of making sure those people, if it's a job that you can't get anymore, is it really your fault that you can't work so you can't eat? And I know you say that, especially in America, we're more of a service economy than a manufacturing economy now. It's one of those things where is it somebody's fault that they can't be your fucking servant all day, or they just don't have the patience, or worst case, their mind or the way that they think, or the way that the systems that governs how they live their life doesn't fit where what most people think that it should fit. Like, is it really their fault? What do we do in those situations? Whose fault is it that we don't make an economy for everyone? We don't make a lifestyle conducive to everyone in the world. But let's continue.
The way computers automated lots of jobs, the way machines automated lots of jobs, and so on. And the great fear is that capitalism is a system that seems to accompany technological advance with plunging masses of people into unemployment, which, by the way, is a profound criticism of capitalism. And the idea is, oh my God, masses of people without work, masses of people that therefore have no income, they will become a threat to the system itself out of their misery and their deprivation, and something has to be done. And whoops, here we go. We get welfare ideas, but we also get UBI.
So here's another thing too, and we've seen it. We've seen that, you know, when and this is one of the things that I, as a socialist slash democrat, actually sees that there is a hypersensitivity to different problems. So for once, what do I mean? Well, when the automobile came around, yes, I'm calling it the automobile, is a point. When they came around, you saw a lot of people say, "Oh, this will push horse-drawn carriage and buggies out of existence," where it didn't. They just became more specialized. But still, people had that fear that new technology would actually affect the current system, and it did to an extent. And I, I'm not gonna sit back and say that there isn't some things lost with new technology. I won't say that. I'm gonna be very clear with what I believe, that yes, we lose shit when technology becomes better. And not all of it's a bad thing. For example, do we really want to actually be physically putting things, like, instead of act, do don't we like the assembly line and everything that it has actually brought to us? Yeah, of course we do. We like that shit. But that doesn't mean that people aren't still screwed that had those jobs that were lifting heavy shit. No. But let's continue.
Universal basic income as a way at least to pacify these people, to give them enough that they don't have the rage of extreme poverty that might threaten the system. Well, let's talk about this a little bit. Is it really necessary to have this conversation? Whatever you think about the goods or bads of doing something like this, here's a fundamental question. Do we have to have a system, an economic system, in which the good thing, technological advance, being able, with less effort by human beings, to produce as much or more than used to take much more effort? When we have technical change and we can make human beings more productive, meaning that we don't have to put as much time and trouble and toil and effort and sweat into producing the goods that we need to consume, is there a way to take advantage of that that doesn't throw large numbers of people out of work and, in a way, make them expendable, throw them out of the economic system, so that we're worried about them, hopefully on the humanitarian basis? My goodness, technological advance through no fault of theirs plunges them into unemployment. Seems, on the face of it, immoral, unethical, and unfair.
So, one of the things that we need to look at when it comes to UBI and making sure of different, just making sure, again, like I said, there are jobs that simply don't exist because it's actually a benefit that they don't exist. But there are still jobs where those people work. What are we going to do this time? And without having just a guaranteed income, we screw over a lot of people. And I'm sorry. I know it's fun. It's actually fun when we were talking about a few months back when I was talking about the whole uh, Mark Blythe video. It was especially with the whole Gary from Gary Indiana story. And this shit happens, but people are losing their job, losing their income, or majority of their income, and just it's just shitty. And I'm sorry, this shit is it's horrible. I wish we could do more about it, and we can't. We're looking forward to do a UBI, but let's continue.
And if on top of it, we say that it's inevitable that somehow, if we're going to have progress, well, this is the price we pay, it leads us to ask a question which I hope is in all of your minds. Could we not have an economic system that was able to capture the benefits of technological change, that was devoted and interested in finding productivity increases, but that didn't have to accompany that good thing with a really bad one, namely the kinds of unemployment, the kinds of deprivation, the kinds of poverty that lead human beings well-intentioned human beings to think about welfare and to think about a universal basic income. In the second half of today's program, we're going to answer that question. We're going to analyze what it is about capitalism that produces this sad unemployment, poverty, alongside the positive of productivity increase, and how we get there. But before we do that,
All right, I'm gonna mute it while we're talk. So let's let him play through. And so yeah, like this shit is no longer fun. Where you actually are just treating people like shit. So because you feel that they didn't prepare themselves or they weren't skilled enough or they didn't know better to look out for something that they didn't know was going to happen. But let's continue.
function that's there that allow you with a click of your mouse to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yeah. Let's
We
just
also
follow this
urge
channel.
you
It's
to
great.
subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is an enormous source of support to us. It is a costless way for you to indicate some support and interest in what we do, so we really urge you to do it. And of course, we always want to thank
right,
the Patreon
Patreon.
community.
I love how he says this.
Patreon.com/economic update, a source of encouragement and support we enormously appreciate. We will be right back.
All right. I know it's a short video, giving you guys probably about 30 minutes. I'm tired, guys. How about this? Tomorrow, you guys can have a stream for about an hour and a half. Hour and a half. I had to come up with some interesting videos, though. But I want to thank everybody who's watched. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. And don't get too wet out there. Peace.